To the river we go. Leave our worries on the shore and drift away. On the river we know. Sometimes the perfect words are never said. I spilled my coffee, I don't feel like talking. My worries just keep growing by the day. I need a moment where the green and blue appear. Just spin a rock and watch the ricochet. To the river.
There we go, I wish we looked up.
To the river we go. Leave our worries on the shore and drift away. On the river we know. Sometimes the perfect words are left unsaid. You could change your mind when you're intertwined with the water and the waves. As I grow older, well, that boat I'll never sail. It works better than the pills the doctor gave. And with that old fishing pole, I still catch 'em by the bucketful. The kids are helping on the grill and sneak a taste. To the river we go. Leave our worries on the shore and drift away. On the river we know. Sometimes the perfect words are never said. You could change your mind when you're intertwined with the water and the waves. I hope you find this place before you end your days. And if you see me out there, wave hello.
Hello and welcome to a special edition of Cadence TV. You're joining me today on the second day of the inaugural Northern River Masters final. We're on the River Tees. I've drawn Yarm, peg 90 today. Yesterday was not too great, didn't draw well at Bowesfield, had £2.10, but it's still all to play for. £13 is winning the actual match so far, and it is an accumulation of weight over the 2 days, with the highest weight taking the big prize, but there's still other prizes down the list, and today at least we've got a section to fish for. If no chance of the main prizes, but we don't give up hope. As you've seen before, anything can happen in fishing, but having said that, this final was supposed to be fished November last year, but the pandemic took care of that, and like the Euros, we've had to postpone, so we're fishing the actual 2020 final today, and this is July 16th, 17th and 2021, and as you can see, it's suntan oil, shades and red hot, and a lot of you might know that that's not ideal conditions for skimmers and bream, and that's what we really need to target today. We will catch small perch. With a bit of luck we might get a bigger one, and there's a few roach to be had, but not the amount that we would have been catching had we been here back in November. But still, we'll battle on in good old Cadence style. we won't let you down, and see how it goes. As I've said, this is the inaugural Northern River Masters final, and it was an idea that myself and a couple of other lads, Chris Gowling and Kevin Whale, thought about, because there's a big demand for river match fishing again. It's made a bit of a comeback, especially up here in the north of the country, which is around Teesside and Yorkshire. You know, we're getting big matches on the Ouse and whatnot, and that's where the final's going to be this year. So back to how I got to get to this final, and that was I qualified on the River Hull, which some of you viewers might recognise. The peg, I actually drew the peg that I fished in one of our videos a couple of years ago when James and I had one of our pound challenges. James beat me on that day, but fortunately in the qualifier I managed to beat the peg that James was in, and that's how I got here. And that was roach fishing, pretty much same as what James and I were doing. So I was well happy with that, and it was a bit of deja vu, if you like, and I thought it was a bit of a lucky omen, but it hasn't turned out that way in the final. But as I've said, we're going to give it a go anyway and see how it goes. At the moment we're in 2021 qualifiers. We're well into them now. In fact, we've had 4, I believe. The first one being on the River Clyde just before the English River season opened, and I was fortunate enough to get a ticket for that, and also I was fortunate enough to win the match, so my work's done for this year. And there was 3 of us qualified on that one. It was 36 pegger, and there's 12 pegs per zone for the qualifiers, and you might recognise one of the other names who qualified along with me, and he also finished second in the match, I believe, and that was a certain Mr. James Robbins. So James, I'll see you in the final, and that's going to be November 13th and 14th, I believe, on the Yorkshire Ouse below York. And we did a little bit of a 15-minute promotion video, if you like, on the Northern River Masters last year on that one. Chappie managed to get a few minutes filming of that, and I think I caught a bream on that day, but it didn't get me through. But that is my local venue, so I'm fishing the Summer League on it this year, so hopefully come the final on there, 2 nice draws and I stand a good chance, but we shall see. We're shortly going to start, but as you can see, we're going to get the odd diversion as the day goes on. We get paddle boards like that, and we get freestyle swimmers come past. I don't know whether Chappie caught it, but we had some half an hour ago. I was gone through the swim, and to be fair, the paddle boards, the boats don't bother the fish, but those freestyle swimmers do, and I think they must associate them with a seal or something like that. That's the only explanation I can give, because when they go through, very rarely do you get bites, but we'll see. Anyway, back to the tackle I'm going to use today. I've got the Cadence CR10 12-foot 2-feeder rod, as you can see there. That's got a 1-ounce tip in, because although this is a mighty river, it's been low, clear, and it's stood still. There's probably more tow on a lake than there is on this today, so the 1-ounce tip throwing across to the far bank will be fine. And my intention today is to use the window feeder, and we're going to go right across into the shadow of the tree at the far bank, and I'm hoping that there's a couple of bream skimmers hauled up before the sun gets out and round there, and they go off. Right, the reel I'm using today is the CS7 4000 reel, which I've used since they first come out. I love these reels for this sort of fishing. On it I've got braid, 010 braid, with an 8-pound shock leader attached to that for casting, really, and cushioning the fish when they get under my rod tip That helps a lot. The way I've attached my feeder, as you can see, is just a fixed paternoster which we're allowed to use on the river. I've got a twizzled boom to a link there that I can attach my hook links to, and I've got 2 foot of 012, and I've got a size 16 B560 hook on there, and I think I'll set off with 2 live maggots. That's my intention, and see what happens. We might change to worm after a few casts if I get any indications. That takes care of the feeder rod, and I think my main line of attack today will be the pole. And I've got the CP2000 set up today. Absolutely brilliant for this job. And as you can see, we're top 5 deep, which is probably, I've got a top 5 rig on, and the depth of the peg is probably 14 foot. It's a little bit deeper than I'd like, but it's a spot where I've found only a very gentle slope. It's not flat, but it's a very gentle slope, and ideally what you're looking for on this river, past history tells me that anyway, in summer is round about 12 foot is ideal, but the slope is a bit too steep at 12, so I've settled on 14 and we'll see what happens. And on that I've got a 1.5 gram rig, and I've got just an Olivet set 3 foot from the hook, and I've just got 2 number 11s down the line to give it that little bit of a slow fall, that last 3 foot, just to attract the attention of any fish that might be down there. And I've had some floats made up to a design that I like. You might recognise it from me waggler fishing in the winter, and it's a pole float I've had that John Bull's made me, and you can see the 1.5 gram, and I've got a sight tip with 3 different colours, and those colours I can pick out when when the bottom 3 foot is dropping through the water. The shot will sink those to yellow, black and then red, and if it gets held up you'll tell instantly. So you hit a lot of bites with them. I've only been using them a couple of matches now because I haven't had them long, but absolutely brilliant for this job. Oop. And I've got 2 rigs set up identical on that because it can be a bit snaggy and I could end up losing a rig. So my other rig that I've got set up, another top 5, absolutely identical to that one. So there's no point in showing you that one. I'll just untangle that. I've got the CP 200 6 metre whip. I've got it set at 5 metres to hand, and that's hopefully going to catch us some roach if they're about, maybe a few perch. I'm just going to hand feed casters the end of the bush there, and even though, as you can see, that's still quite deep. That's a good 10 foot, which is probably the ideal depth of where I'd want to be for bream. But yet again, it's on the slope, but I'm just hoping that loose feeding casters will get possibly a few roach, but we'll have to wait and see with that one. I do know that a couple of weeks ago I spoke to a lad that was on this peg, and he was doing that, and he actually hooked a bream 4 pound, but conditions were a bit different that day. It was cloudy, it was wet and it was windy, so absolutely total contrast to what we've got today. Tim! Right, here we go. We're setting off. I'm going to cook 2 balls in to start with on my pole line. And then we're going to go out on the feeder across like I mentioned earlier. And if we're really lucky, we might just get a skimmer across there. But where I'm cupping in there, that's going to be my main attack today. I'll get that out of the way. I'm going to go straight in over there with some bait on and see what happens. Yesterday I did this and I had 2 little perch, first 2 chucks. So with a bit of luck, same thing might happen today. Chappy can't see this because I don't think camera's pointing, but I'm just putting a tiny bit of chopped worm, a few dead reds and a couple of casters, not much at all. I don't want to put too much feed in. And on the hook, I think I'll set off with double pinky. If that don't get me a bite, then we know it's going to be a struggle. I've clipped up with a bomb to throw into a little gap at the far bank. So now I've put a feeder on. We'll see if we can hit that same gap, or we chuck into the tree, one of the two. That'll do, I'm happy with that cast. Hit the bottom. Sink the braid. Oh, that's what I didn't want. We snagged on summit. We still will have another go. It wasn't much of a snag. But we were caught on something. Let's have a look. Whoop. Quite often when you're doing this, you are throwing into snags, branches. They don't have to be big snags, it's just the odd twig and that's sunk into the silt. And obviously when you're fishing really light, you easily get caught up in them. I'm just going to put a lighter feeder on, see if I can reach with a lighter feeder, that might help. What we got? I'm just going to put a 30 gram feeder on. If I can reach with that, that'll be a better option. That was a 45 gram I just threw across. This one might not reach, but we'll see. But obviously, before they're all in, you're not allowed to throw a feeder over, so I don't get a chance to find out what's going to work best. You've got to do that while you're actually in fishing match conditions. That's landed in the right spot. And it's not snagged either. It's a special branch. See that, or I've caught a dead bream, but I will weigh it in. Just a twig, look. It's amazing how they pull back. I've had 20 minutes on the feeder and not a sign on double pinky and a single white maggot. So that's telling me there's no fish up the far shelf there. So I'm going to have a go on the pole now. See if we can't get something on that, a bite. It would be nice if it went under and there was a bream hung on the end, but we shall see. I'm just going to put a live red maggot on That's really just to gauge to see if there's anything about. Here we go. I've got a bit of a breeze now, which is nice. It's cooling me down a bit. Oh, I need my half put out as well. I forgot to put my half, but we'll have a put in first, and I'll go get that. My dolly butt. We're fishing on a bit of a slope, so I don't know whether Chappie can pick that up, but I'm sort of holding the float back so the hook length lands nice and neat on that slope. It's settled down now. And we have got a bit of flow today, which we didn't have yesterday where we were. It was stood still. So we're just holding that back a little bit. Willing it to go under, as we all do. First fish of the day, chained me up no end. Couldn't believe the float went under. I'm glad you got that, Chappie. Skimmer. Yeah, our little hybrid. Definitely into roach. Right, I've just woken Chappie up for a bit of a mid-match summary. And as we thought, it is a little tough. In fact, very tough. So we're having a coffee break, thanks to Pauline, because I couldn't be bothered making a cup this morning myself. I'm glad she did. I don't know why I keep looking back at that, because it's not going to go around. So, mid-match summary, well, it's been hectic. We've had, I don't know, about 4 ounces so far, I think. We've had 4 small fish, 1 on the whip, maybe 2 on the whip and 2 on the pole. Not had a bite on the tip, but I've decided now pretty much that we're going to stick on this for an hour, see if anything turns up, but I doubt anything is. Rumour is from bank walkers, £3 top weight along all this zone pretty much. So just as expected really. So I've caught the sun, getting nice and red. And I'll have a quick look around there because Chappie nearly fell off his stool there. So did we have a bite? Can't believe it. Yeah. Excuse me a moment. We'll do mid-match summary in a minute. Yeah, we're getting a touch. Oh, have we got a fish? Got a fish? Come on, start cheering. One for the camera. It's not a big one, but it's like the Christmases have come in all at once in middle of summer. Looks like a little perch. Little fat perch. I'm going to net that. Don't laugh, will you? Right, Mr. Chappie, are you ready for this? You know we like to show our catches off. Ooh. Just give myself a bit of line there. If you zoom in on that, you could make it look massive. Big cheer from the gallery. Right, we'll have another chuck and then we'll get back to our mid-match summary, which has just changed. Can you remember where we chucked that, Chappie? Over there. Right down the hole. Yeah, I thought I was stuck on something. You just got to give it a little pull just to see if it's on out with them sticks. It's like in here, you can see them all in the edge. Right, so in summary, mid-match, we just had that perch, but by and large, it's Right, we've had a couple of bites on a pinky. Both have been perch, so I'm going to try a little red worm now. Can you see that, Chappie? One of them beauties. And see if we get a bite on this. It has brightened my day up, so to speak, anyway. It's if it isn't bright enough. I'll tip that off with a dead maggot, I think. And hopefully my next pull round will be a nice skimmer. Well, that worked. Only a little fish, but at least it's keeping us interested. Not a monster, but it was a bite, and it's going in the net. "40 minutes to go, and guess what? It's still totally Time! Right, that's it, match over. The summary of the match is pretty much like the half-time summary. It was tough, to say the least. Not a lot to say. Qualified for the final, which is an achievement in itself. I've had 2 tough days, but weirdly, it's been really enjoyable. Match fishing is all about competition. There's loads of us in this match. There's probably 600 people tried to get into this final. 50 managed it, of which I was one. So that is an achievement itself. Taking part, the crack with the lads, brilliant. Before the first day, breakfast at the draw. Obviously with social distancing at the moment and whatnot. Later on in the season when we can all gather, that's a great aspect of it. You meet old friends that you haven't seen for a while at these matches. Fantastic. So really, in summary of the competition, for me personally, it's been, as I've said, tough. Not won any money. I was hoping to do that, but you can't win everyone, you know. Still, as I say, onwards, upwards, and I've got this year's final to look forward to in November, and practicing for that I'll start pretty shortly with the summer league that's going on below there, so I'll be concentrating on that. You might get to see us now and again before November when Chappie comes out with us, and James possibly. We'll go catch you some fish, but in the meantime we're going to pack up here now, get back to the venue for the results and see who's taking the prizes. We've had a good day anyway. We've enjoyed it, weirdly enough. Ooh, splashing. You ready? Gently tip them in. I think that's it.
Is that your lot? Paul, I just put them on the base of that net for a stills picture.
Yeah. Do you want to make landing net? Then they can go on and wait.
£1.
£1? Are you sure? Well, there you go. Hard day's work, not a lot, but at the end of the day, it all adds up.
Tell you what, that's been a bad day, that. Oh man, for you.
Right, first of all, those of you who are here in attendance, we want to thank you, the angler, for participating, because without you, obviously, there's no competition. And just thank you all for your support. It's been great. Secondly, I'd like to thank the sponsors. First, Evolve Baits for supplying us with some prizes for the section winners and winners today, and the help throughout this competition. And our main sponsors, Cadence, who have backed us financially with the website. Everybody who buys the tickets looks on the website. It's all down to Cadence and the team for doing that, so they've helped us out tremendously. Without that, we wouldn't have a prize list like we have today, so I'd like to say thanks to them. Oh, hang on. Where we're going next? The results now then. We're going results.
Yeah, now we'll do these first, do the sections
Yeah,
first.
right,
Yeah.
so without further ado, we're going to do the results. We won't talk about the fishing, we'll discuss that over a beer later. We're going to set off with the section winners, and as your name's called out, if you can come up, collect your cheque for £125, and also there's a bag of ground bait and some maggot conditioner, one of each for each section winner. Right, I get the good bit for the main list, and these are the boys that have done it over the 2 days. First of all, reverse order this is, finishing 6th place with a total cumulative weight of £10.9 and a cheque for £500, Paul Clark. Well done, Paul. Take one of that, yeah. Take one of them with you.
Cheers. Thank you.
Fifth on your list, with a cumulative weight of £11.14 and a cheque for £800, Barry Sayer. Well done, Barry. Thanks. Take a bucket with you. And fourth, with an cumulative weight £12 2 ounces and a cheque for £1,000, Mal Wilkinson. A popular lad. Well done, Mal. Yeah, take one of them.
Well done, Mal.
Now we get into the big stuff. Third, with an cumulative weight of £14 3 ounces, James Dent.
Well done, James, lad.
And a cheque for 1,500 quid. Well done, James, and a bucket. And to the runner-up, a popular lad, I'm sure, with a cumulative weight, I should stop saying that, of £16 7 ounce and a cheque for £2,000, Ian Exley.
Well done, Ian, lad.
Might be staying tonight now.
Well done, pal.
Cheers, mate.
And a bucket. And finally, the inaugural winner of the Northern River Masters, with a cumulative weight over the 2 days of £16 14 ounces, a trophy and a cheque for £5,000, Nick Crooks. Well done, Nick. Well done, Nick.
Well done,
Great
mate.
stuff.
And a bottle of champers as well.
A bottle of champers and a bucket. Can you manage all that? It's like Christmas.
He'll manage. We'll get some photos then.
Yeah. Right. Drop that down. Have you got the big check?
They got the big check.
Got the big check. Right, we're just going to do some photos now, please, with the top three, please. Nick, Ian and James, if you...
To the river we go. Leave our worries on the shore and drift away. On the river we know. Sometimes the perfect words are left unsaid. You could change your mind when you're intertwined with the water and the waves.
Right, I've got Ian Exley with me. He was runner-up over the competition, and we're just going to ask Ian a couple of questions of how it went. Where it went right, where it went wrong. So, Ian, yesterday, you had a great draw, let's be fair. Was it 64?
Fantastic, yeah, fantastic
Couldn't
draw.
fault it.
Never been on the peg before, but always fancied it.
And, all,
it's like, yeah.
we've all heard good stories about it.
Yeah.
So, and I've never been on the peg before.
Yeah.
What was it like? What was your approach going to be on your way down there?
Well, it was a bit bewildering because I've been told that you can find any depth you want, which I think is key on this river.
Yeah.
And you can find every depth you want, but you can find it all the way out. So you can find it on the pole line, you can find it on the tip, and eventually I set up 3 rigs, 12 foot, 10 foot and 6 foot, and found 3 different depths on the tip line, and then I had to put everything down and walk away because I was confusing myself.
Oh, yeah,
it was getting a bit more technical, and I was need to stop now.
Yeah.
Just let's do it, you know. And the feeder wasn't worth anything in the end.
Want it? And do you catch all on the pole?
All on the pole, yeah.
And I've heard stories about lads taking waggler rods there. Did you not think about that? Did you regret it or what?
Well, it was on Facebook the night before, and
yeah.
So Martin ropes and says, "Oh, you want a waggler rod for that peg?" And I said, "Well, there's some long walks and everything. I ain't taking a waggler rod, carrying enough gear. I ain't taking a waggler rod for 1 peg." And he said, "Well, you'll draw it now, won't you?" And I did.
Yes.
And to be fair, the last 2 hours I've had 3 perch. Although one was a big one.
Yeah.
But a waggler, there was fish. It's really, really shallow to my left. And the waggler would have caught me
if
probably
you could
another couple. The waggler probably would have caught me a couple of pound of fish,
So,
which would have
We're not going to
being
say it.
critical.
No, we're not going to say
we're
it
not gonna
because
say
it's
it,
gone
no.
well enough anyway.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
it was only the last 2 hours. I was catching quite steady.
Yeah.
up.
So
Sorry.
we're just interviewing. There's a camera over there, look.
We're on interview with you.
You've just... Can we have to start again now?
You'll be thinking now. I know what he's like. You'll be thinking.
We're doing an interview,
Oh,
look,
sorry.
on telly.
Sorry. Oh, I didn't realise.
Right, I forgot where we were.
Right. Yeah, we've both forgot where we were. We've just been rudely interrupted
Oh,
by
so
somebody congratulating Ian on coming second. So anyway, back to our interview again.
Yeah.
It happens. It'll be on outtake. 250 quid for that one, won't it? So
You can't write it. You can't write
no,
it.
you can't.
No.
No. So that was day one sorted.
Yeah.
You caught mainly on 3 lines, and
Yeah.
it sort of dried up a bit towards the end. Wish you'd take the waggler.
Yeah.
But
No, that's it.
But
Well,
that's
yeah.
match fishing for
Yeah,
you.
absolutely.
Hindsight is a great thing. But,
Well, yeah, absolutely.
And then you come to day 2,
Yeah.
which is today. We know we're going to Yarm. I've been at Yarm with
Yeah.
you, and everybody's been talking about a peg. And the peg we all talked about was 156. And you tell us where you drew today, Ian.
Well, funnily enough, I don't know Yarm as well as I know Bowesfield,
Yeah.
but 156 is a peg that I've drawn before.
Right.
The first time I ever fished Yarm, and I won a Riverfest qualifier with £38 off it. So I knew all
remember
about
it.
that
I
peg.
remember it,
I knew
yeah.
all about that peg, so I thought, I won't mind that peg today. And then when I've gone to the draw, I've opened it and I said to Pete Close, 156, and he went, "You said that with a straight face. What have you really got?" 156. And I said,
You
"There
couldn't
go."
write it, could you? You
couldn't
couldn't
write
write it.
And so I knew how I caught last
Yeah.
time, and I also know, even though it's been fishing a lot harder, how Derek Fox caught off it a couple of
Yeah.
weeks ago. So I went with an approach, feeder across because he caught early,
Yeah.
and pull at 30 metres because that's how I caught when I was on it before.
Yeah.
And then I had to set a short line up for catching anything because it was so tight and it's fishing so hard.
Yeah. And you mentioned going feeder across early. Have you done that because that was in the shade from the
It
sun?
wasn't really in the shade.
Or
no.
you just a
I just
tactic?
did it because somebody told me that Derek Fox had caught 8 skimmers early.
Right.
So I thought,
Got to do it, haven't you?
got to do it. I thought it's worth half an hour
Yeah.
at least to see if anything happens.
But as we know, this weekend's been
Yeah.
pretty terrible for the
Don't actually
for the
think
sun.
there's been a skimmer caught in the entire length of Yarm.
No.
Don't think so.
No, nothing above a bottle
Nothing
top
above
anyway.
a few ounces,
No,
yeah.
no, that's right.
So yeah, I got 2 perch and a roach on that.
So your target today was to sort of beat Nick, who eventually won it by
Yeah.
£3, didn't you? And
Well, he's beat me by 7 ounces, hasn't he? But,
yeah,
but
beat you by
that's it.
7 ounces. But weights weren't great today.
No.
But and you didn't quite do enough. And I
That's
heard
it.
somewhere on the grapevine that you lost a skimmer, which may or may not have won you the money.
I didn't lose it, it got eaten.
It got eaten. Well, yeah,
to
it got
be
eaten
fair,
by a pike. Yeah.
It was probably 4 or 5 ounces. It
Was
probably
it?
wasn't enough. It
So
just made
so
it
it shrunk.
even closer.
Yeah, it would
but I
have
don't
been
mind.
nice to.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not so nice to lose by an ounce. Or it would have been nice to win well.
I don't
but
mind
you
losing.
can't
And Nick
complain.
is great. He's a great
Right,
lad. I've known him
so-
a lot of years, and
Yep.
he's fantastic. So.
Yeah. So that's your story, and
Yeah.
we're going to say well done.
Yep. Thank
And
you
now
very
I'm
much.
going to get Nick over, and we're going to have a
Yeah,
word
and
with
we're
him.
going to get somebody to photobomb him.
Yeah. Thanks, Ian. Well done. Right, finally we get to meet the winner. Well done, Nick. You've had a great 2 days on a very, very difficult river.
Great first day.
Yeah, well, no, it's all about 2 days, and you've done it over 2 days, and you've done really well. Day 1, let's talk about that, because that was the exciting one, wasn't it? Where did you
Yeah.
draw day 1?
So I've drawn peg 42 at Bowesfield, which, to be fair, I don't really know the river that
No.
well. I've only been 6 or 7 times.
I don't know it that well either.
But I've got to know a few people who, like James,
Yeah.
that's local, and they give me loads of info. So when I draw my peg, I'm on phone, and the sun's sort of. It's one of them rivers where you put a plummet on and it tells you it's a good peg. It plums up nice. It's
Did it
nice and
plumb up?
shallow.
Yeah. Good. Yeah.
So and when I got there and I plumbed up, I thought I fancy to catch a few. You know, some pegs I've come and plumbed and thought,
Yeah.
I don't see how I'm going to catch a few. And today, yesterday, were one of them where I did fancy.
Because
it.
on this river, a lot of it's just slope.
Yeah, a sheer
into
slope
the abyss,
and,
innit?
and them fish tend to want to feed
At a certain
up
depth.
that slope. Yeah, it's all about depths on here, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
And trying to keep up with what depths they're in.
And did you have a flat spot at a good
I
depth?
did. I had 10.5 foot at like what 8.5, 9 meters. Where I've caught most
That's like
of
a
my fish.
Pleasure session, isn't
Perfect.
it?
And then I only had 11.5 foot at 13 meters.
Yeah.
Which so it's you can see it's quite a flat
That's
slope.
That's really good, right?
And I've been able to alternate. With being so nice, been able to alternate and keep fish coming.
And what were your tactics then? Did you cup in?
Yeah, so I've
on
cut
both?
four balls short and 6 balls long, which
Yeah.
I've come the last couple of weeks and had a go. And I thought, well, even if I don't feed loads of bait,
Yeah.
I want to put a volume in at start because topping up's been the kiss of death last few weeks. I found that
myself. Yeah.
So I wanted to put a volume in, even though there weren't a lot of bait in it,
Yeah.
to sort of set me traps for day.
So what have you done? Have you fed the same particles in your ground bait on both lines, or did you do?
Yeah,
two different?
I've literally put 10 handfuls into a mixing bowl,
Yeah.
my 2 lines, and I've put it in and just split it 6 and
Yeah.
4. Which, to be fair, I expect there to be more mouths short, more smaller
Yeah.
fish feeding short, but then
Yeah.
I've loose fed over that.
Right,
But
yeah.
long, I wanted to set my traps. So there's not loads of bait in. I've only fed 125 mil at starter bait,
Yeah.
which is nothing.
Yeah.
But I know with some roach short
Yeah.
that I could introduce loose feed, whereas long I've not done anything.
That's
I've been
right.
just coming on and checking to see if I've had a visit or not.
And which has been your best line?
Short by a mile.
Has it?
Yesterday I caught some big roach, a couple of little hybrids and some perch.
Yeah.
I've had 1 skimmer, an eel and a few perch long for maybe £3, maybe £4. But all damage has been done short.
And what hook bait in general?
Casters
What's your
and pinkies. So
Yeah.
yesterday I caught, I started on pinkies and really good, but they were small stamp, but
Yeah.
I knew it were going to be hard, so I happy to put them in net. And then I was feeding casters over the top because I wanted to be positive, because I thought if I'm going to catch a weight, Yarm's been difficult where I've been today. So I know what I had to catch a weight first day. So I thought there's no point just feeding pinkies being too negative.
And when the scalesman come round, what do you have? 13, 14 was
14.
it? And did you think when you were weighed in that? I know you'll have been on the phone, but as you were fishing, were you thinking that was going to be a good weight?
No, that's never. I knew it were a good weight because obviously people walking about.
Walking
you knew it were
about.
decent. I didn't think it'd be nowhere near winning because every time I've been, that's not been enough.
I know.
But I were happy with that. I said
You're always in with a shout, aren't you?
definitely if I could catch between 10 and 15 pounds, you're going into day 2. But
With a
obviously
chance.
Yarm were a lot harder
was,
yesterday than what we expected, even harder today.
Yeah. So that started your day 1 out, and then today you've drawn 192 at Yarm.
Yeah,
and
first peg at bottom at ramp, end peg, but not
end peg,
fancied.
but
I didn't. It caught me
really.
at £6 yesterday off it, but he had a couple of big fish, so.
Yeah, and to be fair, I've never heard of any big fish when I've been coming off there.
Although every time I've been, they've not caught there, so I know it were an end, and I would have fancied an end at Yarm. It wasn't the best end.
I know. I've drawn it when it's been good and had £9 and thought I'd done really well, but it's been blitzed by other weights. I've never caught off there.
Every time I've been recently, they've packed up early, so I thought.
So when you drew that, then did your heart sink or what?
To be fair, I
were you
just
positive?
I was positive because I knew. With conditions, it's 32 degrees today. It's been 32. It's and it was 29 yesterday. I knew it'd be rock hard on both sections again. So my aim was to catch £5 when I sat down, and I knew my start of my match, or I thought my start of my match would be the better part. And after an hour in, I've not got a pound.
No.
I'm thinking, how am I catching £3? Never mind.
Yeah, well, I was pegged next to you today, and the lads that were walking past said you definitely weren't catching.
Yeah, it's been difficult today.
And I'd heard Ian was getting an odd one as well. So
a lot of little perch yesterday, I think, in the weights, and they've not caught big weights yesterday, but a lot of little perch. Them perch have at bait yesterday and not today.
I found that myself.
I caught a few roach early, which were difficult to catch.
Yeah.
But they were only thing you could catch early.
Yeah. So, the end of the day, scalesman's come round. Did you know what Ian had?
I rung Ian. And
you rung Ian?
I rung Ian and I asked him what he'd weighed.
Yeah.
And he told me his weight, and I knew I needed £2.6 to beat, or £2.7 to beat him.
Yeah. And you thought you knew you had
I looked
that.
at my fish. No, I looked at my fish, and I said to him on phone, I've looked at my fish. I don't think I've got It's close, but I don't think I've got enough. And then when I tip £3 and I don't ring him back because I felt guilty.
Yeah.
And
But
just
that's what it's like,
£3,
innit?
yeah.
Because there's a lot of money at stake. And,
But that's
and it's done,
£3
yeah.
there. I fished a better match today. As after that sounds like nearly £14 yesterday. I fished a tidier match today.
Yeah.
Aiming for that £4 or £5.
I've done that myself.
I've lost
big
one
weights.
fish, one little perch all day, and I've netted a lot of little fish today because I
Yeah.
know we're going to be
That's right.
tight.
Yeah.
But I've sort of
Every
fished
fish
a lot more
counts.
negative today. I've not fed half as much bait, and I fished more lines and rotated.
Well,
so it's been enough.
Yeah. Well, you're the champion, mate.
Yeah.
And I want to say well done. I can
Thank you
shake
very
your hand
much.
because we've both been double jabbed,
Yeah.
so we're all right. Well done.
Thank you very much.
And look forward to next year's one.
Yeah. Hopefully I qualify.
Yeah. Well done, Nick. And as always, thanks for watching.